Peace, power, deliver, peace, power, respect to the whole foundational Black American family tree. Welcome back to the Black Alpha Network, where we keep it certified all the time. New Black media, Black grassroots. You know, one of the things we like to do right here on the Black Alpha Network is we like to bring a highlight, a spotlight, and awareness to anywhere and everywhere where our foundational Black American brothers and sisters are. It doesn't matter. We're going to be there with your mind, body, and soul, mentally, physically, spiritually. Guarantee that. So with that said, family, that brings us to a place in Alabama called Newbern. In Newbern, Alabama, a man by the name of Patrick Braxton was elected mayor by default. And once Mr. Braxton was elected mayor, the old mayor, somebody named Hadro, Woody, the third, fourth, fifth, Stokes, whatever, some old backwoods shit. Anyway, Mr. Braxton was elected mayor, and they pulled an I'm a W, and I say so. And they actually prevented him from taking his seat. And they did all types of unlawful, backdoor, backhanded, undermining things. So y'all know that the Black grassroots has to touch on it because the mainstream don't want to speak on it. They want to keep it silent. That ain't happening. And with all the hurdles and the obstacles that they've been trying to put in front of us, we've been knocking them down. And with everything they've been trying to do, close doors on us and just try to run the con game and the trick bags, we've been knocking that down as well. So salute to all of my brothers across the country. Salute to all of my brothers and sisters in Newbern, Alabama. Today, we are going to break it down and we're going to put all the facts on the table, certified style once again. So some people are familiar with this case and some aren't. So if you're not familiar with this case, we're going to put some new facts on the table. And if you are familiar, we're going to put even more facts on the table because that's just how we do on the Black Alpha Network. So I'm going to play a clip real quick and I want the family to check this out. This will give you an overview of what's really going on and what's really happening right there in Newbern, Alabama. And then we're going to break it down from there. And like I said, this is New Black Media, Black Grassroots, and we don't fold for nobody. Check this out, family.
Imagine being a duly elected mayor right here in the United States and being locked out of City Hall because you're Black. This is another story of systemic racism in America. This is Patrick Braxton, and he ran for and won the seat of mayor in a small town in Alabama called Newbern in 2020. Mr. Braxton is now suing Haywood Stokes III and all of these people who are respectively the self-appointed and self-installed mayor of the town and self-appointed and self-installed town council.
That right there, family, that is another case of I'm a W and I say so. But they're going to have to find out today that we foundational Black Americans and we say so. And what we say goes. So this situation will be ironed out and we're going to break it all the way down to the T. Furthermore, proceed.
He's suing him not only for denying his rights, but also for denying the rights of every resident in Newbern to have a duly elected mayor. Now, an important thing to know is that traditionally the mayor in Newbern, Alabama has been handpicked by the town council, a town council that in its entire history has had a single Black member in a town where the population is 85% Black. And all of this also makes it unsurprising that in the entire history of the town, there has been no Black mayor ever.
You heard that, family. A town that is 85% Black. So you know that's I'm a W when I say so.
Ever. Now, in 2020, Braxton decided to run against the incumbent mayor, Haywood Stokes III, that you saw in the lawsuit. And he won beating the odds because at the time, Haywood Stokes III, the incumbent mayor, did not provide the residents of Newbern with a public notice necessary to let them know that that year there was going to be an actual election, that the mayor wouldn't just be handpicked by the town council. And the reason Braxton won is because Braxton qualified for the election. But you know who didn't qualify for the election? This guy, Haywood Stokes III. And that caused Braxton to win by default and be declared the mayor by a judge. Braxton was not.
That right there, family. Hadro, Woody, the third, fourth, and fifth prevented Mr. Braxton from actually taking his seat and prevented Mr. Braxton from becoming the elected mayor. That mayor went on back in the day, but that ain't going to go on nowadays, family. So the certified Black grassroots, we're going to do what the mainstream does not want to do. We're going to talk about it. We're going to break it down, and we're going to bring all of the light. So today, on this episode of the Black Alpha Cast, I need y'all to smash that like button and please subscribe to the channel. We have a colleague of Mr. Braxton. You may have seen her on MSNBC. She had an interview with Al Sharpton, but today she's speaking to Black Alpha, and y'all know we're going to go full certified and drop some names in the process. So family, please give a certified salute to our good sister. This is our good sister, LaQuina Lewis. How are you, sister?
I am doing wonderful. Thank you for having me, brother. I appreciate this opportunity.
All the time, all the time. Now, you've been right there on the front lines. You've been down there, and in Newbern. You got a very, very good understanding of what's happening. Before we move further, can you give us the spirits and the mentality of where Mr. Braxton is at? Where is he? How is his spirits? Because this is a whole lot that's been thrown at him since 2020 going on now. How's he feeling right now?
I'm gonna be honest. I honestly feel like he's in a better place, just mentally, because of the awareness and the, and the light that's been shined upon it. I do think that things can be better for him. I think, and that's when justice come into play, but he is in a better place because there is some light. I mean, just think about it. This brother has have doors closed in his face left and right, and places where he should have been able to get assistance, he wasn't able to do so. So I felt that because I was with him when some of them doors were closing, I felt the hurt and the pain that he, has endured. And you thinking, hey, he only had a 4-year term. It's been 3 already. So it's about time for something to happen. But he is in a better place because, light is on the situation for sure.
Absolutely. We're going to always, right here in the New Black Media, the Black Grassroots, Black Alpha Network, we're going to always be there to try to assist and just bring light to the situation. Because like we said, we know that the mainstream, we know other people from different areas, different groups. We're not dependent on them to get our story out. We're going to definitely get our story out by ourselves. One question I do want to lead with, and salute to Mr. Braxton. I hope everything, comes through, and we're going to make sure that this gets eradicated. We're going to make sure that justice definitely comes. One thing I want to ask you, though, my sister, what energies got you involved in this? Like, how did you come about to see this story? Because I came aware of the story through the New Black Media, and a couple friends of mine put me on it. What brought this to your attention, and what are some of the things that made you want to get involved in and, put your foot in this race?
Okay, well, in all honesty, I was born in Hale County, Alabama, which is Newbern is a city in Hale County, but I was raised in South Central Los Angeles. So I moved back home because my desire was to do exactly what I'm doing now. I'm the founder and the president of a nonprofit organization called Love Is What Love Does, and I've been serving the community since 2016. So I wanted to get deeper into Hale County. So through a mutual friend that Braxton and I had, she said, hey, I want to introduce you to Mayor Braxton there. He'll tell you a lot more about his situation, but he just might have a spot where you'll be able to, provide your services. We provide services from food distribution because food security is a major issue in Hale County, and just providing a balanced food, balanced meals. So nutrition is key as well, from utility assistance, youth services. So I just wanted a place where I can set up shop so I wouldn't have to keep running back and forth. And so she said, link up with him. He may be able to assist you. So I did. But also Hale County is where my family is from. I have family in Greensboro, which is a city there in Hale County. And a lot of my family is in Newbern, Alabama. So I wanted to be able to, I'm just getting back to my roots. You feel me? So I was really getting back to my roots. So to go back to Newbern, I link up with Braxton and bam, he hit me. This was about January of 2022. And he hit me with what's been happening, and that he's like, yeah, I'm the mayor, but I can't take my seat. I haven't been able to do so in the last 3 years. And I've asked everybody for help to no avail. So I'm like, you the mayor, but you can't take your seat. How that work? It just didn't add up to me. It didn't make any sense. So, we chopped it up. He gave me a background, and he just started off with, hey, I've been locked out of City Hall, and it really went from there. It went from there. So I just I took it upon myself and took the matter as a personal one. Now it's personal because I feel like you oppressing the people,
Yep.
you suppressing the community. So now, hey, we got a problem. So I did everything that I could. I reached out to a friend of mine named Leslie Sebastian. She's in California. When I reached out to her, she did everything that she could so we can get this into the hands of some attorneys. Braxton said, I don't know what to do. What do you have so far is what I asked him. And he gave me a box. Now, check this out. They cleared City Hall of all legal documentation. They cleared City Hall. They left 2 boxes of about several thousand documents that they consider trash. And I took that, and I took about 4 months and laid them out on the floor of my home. And I took about 4 months to create a timeline of events of what really transpired and really took place. And me and Leslie just hit the ground running with what we was finding. And we know that we found what they truly did to continue to keep him locked out. They were able to seek help from higher ups. You know, so we was able to put that together. We went through a few attorneys, you know, or whatnot, but we put that information together and we was able to get it to this point that it's at now. We got it in the hands of some, I call them vital, you know, legal services, legal representation, you know, but, and they're making progress with it. And that team has grown since then, but it has been a journey. It's been a journey.
First off, I want to say, you know, we appreciate you for the work that you're doing with your organization. So much respect to you. You know, that's one thing that, you know, I always tell people, and I'm always preaching, is that all of our solutions have to come from ourselves. We can't wait for other people to do it. Yeah, you know, that's something that I always harp on because, you know, for so long, we've waited for other people to do it. So I'm liking now in this generation, in this era, and we've spoken about this before, where this is the era and this is the generation where we're bringing it to the forefront and we're actually making things happen for ourselves. So salute to you. I want to backtrack people and let everybody understand exactly what occurred. Okay, so in the city of Newbern, there hasn't been an election for how long? Hasn't there been an election? It's been quite some time, right?
Ever.
Damn, that's quite. Now that's quite some damn time.
That's quite some time. You know, this town was established in what, 1864 or 54, one of those. Don't quote me, but it's one of those. There's never been an election, and leadership just has been passed down from friend to friend. Of course, white colleague to white colleague, white brother to white brother. And it's been happening for this whole entire time. And it hasn't been questioned. And, you know, we're in a community where, excuse me, where you're being told who your leadership is. You're being told who your leadership is. I still feel like, you know, this town was established on the grounds of slavery. You know, so this is already a suppressed environment, you know. So this is just the community that has over the years have been, you know, instructed, told what to do, told who their leadership was, and have gone with the flow. And as long as it wasn't interrupting the lives of, you know, the minority in the community, mind you, it's already 85% black, 83 to 85% black, small print. But as long as things were fine with the minority, it flowed that way. It's unfortunate, but it has happened.
Now, when you're talking 80% plus black and no election, so the city hasn't had an election for decades. Instead, they have an old mayor that handpicks the new mayor and passes it down. Now, that's the good old boy system, if you ever heard it before, right?
Come on now. I know.
And they pick the council members, right? The new mayor picks the council members?
Picks the council members as well.
Oh, man, goodness. So how did they ended up, you know, keeping that? From my understanding is that Mr. Braxton went forth and said that he was going to run, and he did everything to properly get himself qualified. But I also heard that the old mayor, Hayward Stokes, tried to give him false information, do everything to put hurdles and blockades to prevent Mr. Braxton from running. But once Mr. Braxton actually did get qualified and took it on his own means, like we're always saying, and got himself qualified, that's when Mr. Hayward Stokes did a lot of backdoor undermining, unlawful tactics. Can you shine a light on some of those undermining tactics that he was doing to try to stop our brother Mr. Braxton from getting it done?
Well, keep it real with you. First thing he did was he reached out to, once he realized that this has happened, he needed to take some steps to make sure that he can, you know, maintain his seat. One thing he did was he reached out to the League of Municipalities. Over there, they have their head is, I believe her name is Laura Lai. That's what I call her. Her name is Laura Lai. She's over at the League of Municipalities. And they reached over there to get advice on what steps to take. So they claimed that they held a special election. Why they needed a special election, I don't know. But according to the minutes and the documents that I found, they said that they made an inadvertent mistake, which is the exact wording in there. It doesn't state what the inadvertent mistake is, but they made an inadvertent mistake. So they need to hold a special election, which never took place, which there was no notification to the community that it's going to happen. It wasn't posted in the town library or the store or city hall windows or anything, that they had this quote unquote special election to put themselves back in the seat as his counsel. Then they caught themselves notifying him, allegedly notifying him of their meeting that was taking place in their home, not in the council, not in the city hall building, but who's going to go to their house?
So they had a secret meeting basically at their house and not actually at the place where you're supposed to have meetings.
Exactly. So they have this secret meeting. They allegedly notified Braxton about it. Supposedly they notified Braxton about it and invited him to it. But this is after they've considered themselves his council members. Mind you, Braxton had been sworn in. He also took the time to go into the community and get council members himself. So he went to blacks, whites. Unfortunately, you know, because he's a volunteer firefighter. He's a first responder in the community. So he's known among all, you know, both races. He's truly an upstanding gentleman, you know. So he went to everybody asking for their assistance and if they wanted to serve. Of course, there was only blacks who responded and said that they would serve. He went and got sworn in by Judge Wiggins. He was sworn in by Judge Wiggins. His council members were sworn in by, there's photos of it. His council members were sworn in by Judge Wiggins. You know, so when they had this special election and had this meeting and made themselves his council, they allegedly notified him for him to come to this meeting. But he knew in his mind, and, you know, he said, you know, going to meetings like that, it's almost like, in my opinion, it's almost like acknowledging that they're your council members.
Right.
So, of course, he didn't participate, you know, or whatnot. And he didn't acknowledge them as his counsel. He had already had counsel. They already was sworn in. You know, they had already tried to go to work. When he didn't cooperate, of course, they went as far as to, you know, they changed the locks. Mayor Braxton changed the locks back. They changed the locks again. So I said, you know, this is crazy. He went into the post office. He tried to get the mail, you know, what he's supposed to do. They wouldn't release the mail to him. The mail lady, postmaster, pretty much said she got orders from somebody else. She wouldn't say who told her not to release mail to him. Yeah, I know that look.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that look.
We already know who that was, right?
Uh-huh. He went to the bank. He asked the bank, what's up? You know, I'm the mayor now. You know, I need for you guys to stop giving, you know, the information to Woody. I need to be able to take over these affairs so I can get the community, you know, what its needs, address some of the needs that the community have, and to continue the operations of the community.
Right.
To no avail, no response. We're not giving you nothing. You know, so he just kept getting those doors closed in his face. So after he informed me of those things, I began to write. I wrote letters. I wrote letters to the bank. What's up? He's the mayor, you know, just in general. He's the mayor. Are you going to acknowledge that? Are you going to release the information to him, the current accounts and everything of the city? And they did not. The letters went ignored. In addition to the letters getting ignored, they were also informed that, you know, Woody and them had taken this seat illegally and that he is no longer the mayor. Nobody paid attention. None of them listened, you know, so he did everything that he could. And when we sent those letters out, Leslie was able to help me draw them together, put them together, because we wanted to make sure that we was doing things decent and in order, you know, that we was following proper protocol and giving everybody the opportunity to get some act right.
So you guys followed everything the proper fashion, and then the other ones were making up the rules. My understanding is that according to the municipal code, the sitting mayor has to actually acknowledge the public of an election 90 days previous to an election, and the Hayward guy never, ever even did that at all?
Never did that at all. Not even when they did this special election. You know, it wasn't notified. The information, everything was that was sent out. And no information was put out into the public to allow them to be a part of that or to notify them of that. I'm sorry, I got to drink water. I got a crazy cough. I got water.
All day. Now, this is what gets me, because this is what we're always talking about. Everyone speaks about voter rights. They're always talking about the voter rights and elections and everything that goes on, particularly from the Democrats. They're always speaking about how it's under assault and this, that, and the other thing. What has been any response to anyone you guys have reached out to from the NAACP, the Democratic Party? I know all across the state of Alabama, they're always talking about that. And that's really what they point to every election cycle, and a way to galvanize us to give them, you know, our votes. Have there been anyone who's actually assisted, came to aid, or even cared or lifted a finger to help this situation?
Zero.
Dang.
I wrote this out for a whole year. with Leslie Sebastian. I'm going to keep telling you that name because that was the only person. She has 30 plus years of legislation, you know, in her background. And she's just passionate about service, you know, and so she's been a great big help. But we reached out to a lot of people. Bobby Singleton, I believe that's what, State Senate, you know, or whatnot. No help. No help there. He actually told Braxton that he was going to take the front seat. And I'm saying this. He was to reach out. People, reach out. Ask him what's up and what happened. He told Braxton he was going to take the front seat on getting him the help that he need and bringing change. After that first conversation, no longer answered his phone.
Damn.
No longer answered his phone and did not help. Reaching out to him. And you know what he's done? He still hasn't reached back out to Braxton, even though, you know, did nobody want to put him out there to say you haven't helped. But it's a year and a half later, they're calling rallies in Newbern. You know what I'm saying? And the thing was, you ain't even involved the man. You calling rallies and using his situation as a stepping stone for your name to be out there and for your glory. There's a Black Mayors Association in Alabama. The Black Mayors Association. The head of the Black Mayors Association is Vicki Moore. I personally, over a year ago, had conversations with her. Her response to me was, and I'm begging for help. We're begging. We're asking, but we're also begging for help. Right. Her response to me was, all we have is moral support. We don't have any help that we can give. But right now, she partnering with Bobby Singleton, the Black Mayors Association, which is all the Black mayors in Alabama, partnering with Bobby Singleton for these rallies and different things. My question is, are you fundraising off of it? What's the point? Because you're not helping. We have a fundraiser up to help bring the services that we are interested in. You have not, you know, had a conversation with us. You have not tried to help. We've offered several opportunities to do so. Vicki Moore flat out said no. It's nothing that she can do. But right now, you know, because it's a bigger story now that's being told, they are like adamant about getting out there and getting their name in the paper. I've seen some articles that I've read where Vicki Moore was contacted by some of the news coverings or whatnot, the news agencies. And she made a statement that she's helped. No, zero. Black Mayor Association have not helped. Bobby Singleton State Senate has not helped. We've even reached out to Ben Jollis. Ben Jollis used to run the NAACP. No help from Ben Jollis, who used to run the NAACP. We had dinner with him, or lunch, whatever you want to call it. And his biggest thing was promoting the book that he had currently coming out, you know. So I'm just telling you all these platforms. SPLC, Southern Poverty Law Center, we reached out to them. I'm talking about they were supposed to do legal assistance. They were supposed to help us with media and coverage so we can have a strategic plan so it wouldn't be sloppy getting this out.
Right.
No help. No help, to no avail, to no avail. Robert Turner, let's get on him. Robert Turner is like a civil rights activist and a civil rights attorney in Alabama, in Perry County and Hale County. So he served all of these areas. He was supposed to help Braxton. He hit him with a fee. I think it was about 7 bands. Took the man money, and pretty much I'm hearing him on a phone call tell Braxton, you're going to have to just get with the program, because they've done what they needed to do to maintain their positions of power. That, despite all the evidence that we had, despite everything we showed them, like, this is a real case, this is serious. He told them to get with the program, but never returned any of the man's money, didn't help. We've seen, I got letters, I got proof. We sent letters requesting the funding back. He sent back an itemized list of work that he'd done to account for those hours that he supposedly worked and to excuse the money that we have already given him. Ridiculous.
So the opposition is not only coming from the Hayward camp, the opposition or lack of support is also coming from those who claim it. So I'm hearing about book promotion, I'm hearing about a fee, and I'm hearing about campaign rallies, but no one actually wanted to lift the finger to get actually to the details of the situation.
No, sir. I'm being real.
Now, okay, let me ask you this question. On top of all of that, now it's funny though, let me say this before I ask that question. All of these people run on campaigns of serving the community. But when you have someone who's actually serving the community or being disserved by the community, all of a sudden now they throw their hands up and they're not here to help us at all. So how does the public feel Because I know it's 85% black. How does the public feel? I know that you said white people didn't want to help them. They didn't want to help serve. They was doing their thing. The minority, shall I say. How do the typical average everyday black citizen in Newbern, how do they really feel about the situation? Because it's been going on now for 3 to 4 years. How is it really right there in the trenches?
Let's go. I want to touch on that. I also want to touch on what you said about the white community. Now, let me be real. There are a lot of them that want to secretly support Mayor Braxton. That secretly say, well, we know it's the right thing. And we know it's correct, but we don't want our name in the paper. We don't want you to come and shine no camera in our face. And really, it's unfortunate, that this has gone to this. We've also had some that said, hey, boy, in my opinion, when you tell somebody, oh, you just need to go and talk to the other party. You need to go and talk to Woody Stokes, the previous mayor, and see if you guys can work something out. To me, that's like saying, boy, just learn to get along. Because it's not acknowledging. Let's get real. It's not acknowledging what has happened. It's not acknowledging the fault or the wrong in the situation. Right. It's just saying, find a way to get along. Bump that. It's unfair. It's unfair, and it shouldn't be happening, period. Now, as far as the blacks in the community, look at this. They may have been, Braxton go around telling people, I became the mayor. But if they've been told for so many years who their leadership is, here you come saying you the leader, but they still seeing this other person be the active mayor. So
it undermines everything he's doing.
Undermining everything he's doing, trying to do. You know what I'm saying? So do you really believe him? You know what I'm saying? So then I look, because I'm being real, I got a family that lived there. So when I just heard that it wasn't, voting hadn't been taking place, things like that was happening, I went back to talk to a few. And, that's when I got, hey, we were told who our leadership was. And I don't blame anybody. I don't blame our people, because when you're in a community that's for so long, that's how things been going. To me, that's what you call oppression.
Yep.
What you call oppression, straight up. So they didn't have the me and you, they didn't have the ones to come in and say, this ain't right. We can't just keep accepting certain things. We have to, shake it up a bit, so it's just, they accept and understand. And then now that it's bigger, of course, they understand who leadership is, who Braxton, that Braxton is the mayor. But at the same time, how do you really accept that when you can't even see him do his duties? You don't even see him out there. You can't see him out there serving because he's been denied power. You go to the sheriff's office, he can't even get them to respond to a complaint. There's a fire in the black communities. They don't even come out and serve the black communities of fire. They claim they don't hear it on the radios. You know what I'm saying? So they're letting an emergency happen. You call 911. There's no help coming out to serve those areas. It's a big problem. And because this has happened so long, they've been in a position of where we've just been going with the flow of it. I call it going with the okie doke.
Yep. Yeah, the bamboozle, the hoodwink, all the way across the board. And they've been had, as they call it before, like you said, oppression. It sounds very, very similar to me to apartheid. It's the same system right there, where you have a small minority group that uses every unlawful tactic to overwrite the majority of what everyone else is doing or everyone else is accomplishing. I mean, when you start talking about changing the locks, you said they changed the locks on that man?
Changed the locks. He changed them. They changed them back.
Damn.
He went to the sheriff's office to get a complaint. First day that we had, excuse me, the first day we had a gentleman by the name of Reverend Michael Malcolm. He came and did like a YouTube. He shot an interview with Braxton about what's been happening. This has been over a year ago. Didn't much transpire after his interview, but at the same time, he was one of the first people that came out and did an interview with Braxton to show what it's about. On the day that he came out there, because at that point, Braxton did have access to City Hall because he changed the locks, and they hadn't had a chance to change them back yet, which of course they've been changed since. We had a lady by the name of Dana Tucker. She sits as she was the city clerk serving for Woody Stokes.
Okay.
Dana Tucker came out and just got to hollering and telling us that we didn't belong there, telling us that he wasn't the mayor, telling us we needed to leave that building. You know, she served as a city clerk, Caucasian female, and was just very, very adamant, and you could tell very angry. I think she ended her statement, and I have it on video because I was able to catch it with my phone. And she was able to end her statement, you know, in God we trust. It was offensive to me because I was trying to figure out where she coming from. What you mean?
Right.
You know, in God we trust. What you talking about?
She
you know,
she threw that in there, didn't she?
She threw that in there. So I said, in God I trust too. You know,
Yeah.
so you know, she went there. She left. We tried to go to the sheriff's office to get a complaint filed. Now, see, this is what I call systemic racism.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing that has happened has been taken serious by the sheriff's office. Everything that he's experienced, this man has been followed by drones. He's tried to make a report about that. He's been almost ran off the road. He tried to make a report about that. When things are not being addressed, look, how do you get help? Where do you go to get help? He went to the sheriff's office about it, to no avail. To no avail. So what's next? What's next? Before people take matters in their own hand, what's next?
Also, I see what you're saying, where, you know, you have basically 24-hour surveillance on him. Then you have people, like we said, doing back secret meetings, but like the whole system. That's why we say it's the good old boy system. It's the system from top to bottom. And that, you know, I'm in the South too, so I see that a lot down here in the South. And it goes on across the country. But like you said, we're talking about places that are built off the backs of slavery, to where people just don't really want to let that type of energy go, and they practice this type of oppression, apartheid type tactics. When it comes to our brother Braxton, you said he was denied actual postal code, a postal service, where they were not wanting to give him any type of you know, P.O. box where he can actually communicate with people outside.
The mayors have a P.O. box. You know, there's a P.O. box. It was a P.O. box for the mayor that was there, not just for Braxton in particular, but a mayor's P.O. box for Newbern, Alabama. He went to go and start to retrieve that mail. The first thing they told him was, no, you're going to have to get another P.O. box for that. Then he couldn't say it was Mayor Braxton. Couldn't say that on there. Then they got to the point where they said, you can't have a post office box here at all.
Damn.
You know, so they took it there. They took it there.
You know, I've literally never heard anybody ever being denied an actual postal service. I've never ever in my life seen that. You know, that's not legal. Yeah, that's unlawful as unlawful can possibly be. So he went and so let me get this right. So first off, the mayor is entitled to have one, and they told him you can't have that. And then when he's like, okay, well, what about myself? They said you can't have that. Matter of fact, you just can't have one at all. So all of these things are occurring, and even the what is it? The Alabama mayors? What is it called?
The Black Mayors Association.
And the Black Mayors Association doesn't lend assistance to a black mayor. Am I standing correct?
Come on. Head of the Black Mayors Association, Vicky Moore. Now, this is somebody I spoke with personally. Straight up, no help at all. But wanted to be informed and updated on the story about what was going on and what we was trying to accomplish and do. But never wanted to lend a helping hand. So, of course, we cut the information part off.
Right. Yep. Because you already see the tactics on what
I'm already seeing what you're trying to do.
She didn't want to know for help, but she wanted to know so she can be watching. This right here is Newbern. So Newbern is in between, what is that, Montgomery and Birmingham?
For the most part.
For the most part, okay. What is that? How long is that to Montgomery? How long a ride that is?
About a good hour and some change.
Okay, all right. Nobody from where's the governor? Where's the governor's actual office at?
In Greensboro, I believe. I'm not 100% sure on that.
Okay.
I want to say in Greensboro, Alabama, which is about 20 minutes out of Newbern.
Damn, so basically it's surrounded by Birmingham, Montgomery, and where the governor's office is. So it's right there in the key center. Damn.
It's right. I mean, it's no reason why something shouldn't have been done about it. It's no reason why. I mean, I know the big question today is, well, how come this person didn't do anything? How come you guys didn't contact, the Attorney General office? Or how come you guys, just know that proper steps have been taken. People have been notified, and it was honestly to no avail. It took for a little light to get shined up on the situation.
Let's see. You know, let me ask you about you, sister. Has there been any issues that you face in terms of harassment? Because it seems like anybody who's on the right side of this issue, including Mr. Braxton himself, have been threatened or have been watched, surveillance or whatnot. Has anything came in your direction?
Brother? Yes, most definitely. Most definitely. Well, let's say last year, you know, I told you I met him back like January last year. I started helping him with the case and everything. You know, I do food distributions and provide other services in the community. Mind you, 30-40% of the population that I serve are white. So I'm balanced. I serve everybody. I don't discriminate. I don't hate. I serve everybody. I'm truly about love. The name of my organization is Love Is What Love Does, for a reason, because I truly feel like love is exactly what you do. You know what I'm saying? Not what you say, it's what you do. Be the change that you want to see. Don't just talk about it, be about it. So my goal was to come back home and be the change that I wanted to see in the community. You're talking about a community, not just blacks, the county. You're talking about a community that's 50% are living below poverty. You know what I'm saying? So I wanted to be a part of this change, you know, by bringing the changes. I didn't want to talk about who's not doing it. I just wanted to do.
You want to be it yourself, right?
That's it. I'd rather be it. And then anybody that want to be a part of it, you're more than welcome to join. I ain't with the shenanigans or the nonsense.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I'm about it. I'm about that life. So I started that organization there. Mind you, I started stepping in and helping him with this case in particular. In October, my home burns down. At the time I lived in Selma, Alabama, two-story home. My home burns down to the ground. I get back from taking my kids out. We pull back up, and I mean, I'm literally watching the inside of the home, the top story fall into the first story, you know, mind blowing, keeping my composure because I got kids. So I'm losing everything. You know, I had everything there. That's when you live somewhere for a long period of time. Come on, let's be real. You accumulate stuff over time. So that's everything that we own, you know, everything that I have. It burns to the ground. It was investigated by the insurance company, investigated by the local fire department, cause undetermined. And that was the end of the story from that. Now, at the time, I'm going to be real. I didn't put two and two together. Didn't think that it had anything to do with. Until later on down the line, I got hate mail. I don't know what's safe to say on your show or not, but it was some explicit language. Get out of our town. It referenced my children. It referenced the burning of the home. It referenced that get out of my town. We know we'll catch you at your next food distribution. They drew pictures. They had on there ABH on it, BAH. It was written in the letters was written in a different way, but it was ABH, Aryan Brotherhood, that was written on there. And it was derogatory. They drew pictures of Mayor Braxton and myself being lynched, you know. So it went there, and it was 3 letters, 4 documents, but a total of 3 letters, and they were mailed to the P.O. box of my organization. You know, but it hit me. And then when it referenced the home burning, it was like an aha moment for me. But to me, that was hurtful. Since the letters have been turned over to the FBI, which is currently, to my knowledge, doing the investigation and still looking into those letters that I've received. But it has been life-changing for me, and I haven't gotten a lot of help since then. Initially, when my home burned down, there was a GoFundMe raised some change there, and as you know, it helped me get through a couple of months, and I'm appreciative to those who were able to contribute to that, because it was a blessing at the time that I really needed. We're talking about trying to replace toothbrushes, you know. We're going back to the basics. You have to think about what's being lost, you know, or whatnot. I'm currently in a temporary housing situation, probably got about less than 90 days to be here, and we're looking for somewhere to live now. And then we're looking for the funds, you know what I'm saying, to do that. But I haven't allowed that to stop me from service. I still serve. I still do food distribution. I'm still helping through my organization with utility assistance and other services. I'm still helping with this case. You know, right is right and wrong is wrong. So I'm going to stand by that regardless. I feel like God going to take care of me, you know, at the end of the day. And I truly stand on that. But it has been difficult standing. I was doing a lot of work for pay in the community as a consultant. I think that a lot of those opportunities have been dead for me since this case because it's drawn a lot of attention. Sometimes people just don't want to touch you no more. You know what I'm saying? So I've been having a little difficulty with, regaining employment and juggling being a mom. I don't take my kids to the local public schools, or whatnot. I have to figure the things like that out for them. Don't want to say too much on here of what I've decided to do with them because of the situation. I'm in the hate. And since it happened, there was a light shined on it for a couple of days and it's gotten swept under the rug, and it's going, nobody's paying attention to it anymore, but it has happened. Am I in fear? I think my anger outweighs the fear.
I know that's right.
To be honest. So none of it has been scaring me to a point to where I'm not willing to stand up anymore. And the door is open for anybody that want to stand up with me. But as far as my situation is concerned, hey, that's my living situation, my finance situation. I'm being honest. I have zero. But I'm not going to stop the fight.
It sounds like the same energy that made you want to get involved in the situation is the same energy that's making you stand in the middle of it and not run from it.
Absolutely.
And I respect that because it's one thing we always talk about right here on the Black Alpha Network. We always talk about being 10 toes down. We always talk about if you're going to do it, you're going to say it with your chest. We don't walk with our head to the ground. We walk with our head to the sky. And I can tell you definitely do that. So we definitely commend you for that. And all my brothers and sisters, that's why I'm always telling us, man, we are all we genuinely got. That's nice saying. It's a good phrase. It sounds good, but it's even more real because genuinely we are all we got. And that's why we definitely got to always stay on code. Speaking of staying on code, I seen you on MSNBC speaking to Al Sharpton. What kind of vibe were you getting in terms of the national media or him himself? Because I seen the interview and it seemed like he was pity patting like always. He was tap dancing a little bit where he wanted to go. It would definitely ain't like the conversation we having right here. We having the facts. And I told you, I said, when you come on here, we're going to put it all on the line, all on the table. Because if it's real, it's real. I noticed on the interview with him, he just he wanted to seem like he had a narrative that he wanted to paint. He had a story that he wanted to sell, which is typical of the whole Democrat go vote. It basically was some go vote for us type stuff. What kind of vibe were you getting when you were having that conversation with him?
In all honesty, I can't say it was scripted, but what I will say is that it just seems as if there was an agenda, there. It wasn't about necessarily getting the story out about what's happening. It was an agenda, whether it was, black votes or Democrat and Republic or black against white. It was something. It wasn't really about the story and what has happened and what's going on. It was agenda and it was a point. I mean, I do appreciate the opportunity to bring what's happening to a platform of that status, but at the same time, probably more is learned right here than actually on that show. I think I was on there about 2 seconds, about 2-3 seconds.
About 2.5, 2 and 3/4. I noticed that.
Right. So, but this type of platform offers more the opportunity to get the facts out there of what's really transpiring and to just tell the truth about who's been doing what about it. So his questions that he was asking, it was obviously a lot more leading. It was kind of where I had to tailor my answers toward what he asking. And I had to be quick about it out too, because it was letting me know you got a minute left, so for this interview. So it wasn't as relaxed as this is. And most definitely, again, brother, I appreciate this opportunity. This is the first time that I've had the opportunity to truly sit down and talk about what, I really commend you for. You was very serious. We had a conversation prior to us meeting about the situation, and you got a lot of the facts then, and you just promised and you vowed to bring it to the forefront now. And I just appreciate this is the first time from Braxton to myself ever have an opportunity to truly sit down and get out what's been going on. And it's serious.
I appreciate you. We all appreciate you. The whole certified Black society, everybody, the Black grassroots. One thing, we speak about as well is this era. Me and you had this conversation about this era and this generation is a little different. It was something that went down in Montgomery, not too far from you, where it showed now that the energy is changing. And this generation is not just socially, politically, all across the board. We're bringing a new energy now, but we truly are sticking up for each other. So in terms of the new black media, you know, you can always, and matter of fact, I want to continue to bring you back on this program, on this platform, so you could always speak what's real, name names, and I see you was naming names today.
All right, I'm dropping them. What you saying? Let me see. Bobby Singleton, Vicky Moore, and you know, these people should be contacted. Contact them and find out what's up. I encourage anybody, send them letters. Vicky Moore, the Black Mayors Association, send them letters. How come you didn't help? How come you still not helping, but you hosting rallies? What are you going to do to be of assistance? Ask Bobby Singleton, since he want to go on radio shows and say about how much he helped. Ask him, what are you going to do to help? How come you haven't made contact with the mayor or Miss Lewis? You know, her home burned down. She's gotten hate mail. How much outside help have you guys offered?
Which one was the one talking about his book?
Ben Jollis. He used to, I think he was the director of the NAACP. I don't think he is anymore, but he used to be. But he was writing a book, and we went to dinner with him, and it was supposed to be, you know, us, and he was going to use our story as a platform for that. No, sir. No, sir. I read through that. We're not having that.
No, I want everybody out there. All the names that you hearing drop now, we gonna definitely all reach out to them, and we're gonna put some pressure on them, let them know that this ain't the time, this ain't the era, this ain't the date where you're gonna go ahead and use us or use our struggle while you turn your back to us. So you can go get votes to sell a book or whatever you got going for yourself, and then use what's going on with us as some type of catalyst to do it. If you mention us, if you come around us, you're gonna show us our proper etiquette and give us our due respect, and that's just what it is. Gone are the days of yes sir, no sir. Now is the days where you're gonna have to run it, period, point blank. That's just how it is for everybody to get them. What'd you say?
Be about it.
Be about it. Hey, that's what, hey, if you're gonna speak about it, be about it. And if you're gonna say it, you gotta live it. You know, you gotta live it. And that's the thing about these politicians. That's what gets me, is because, as we were saying just earlier, me and you spoke about this before on the phone, where they'll sit here all day long and run on the campaign of what they goons do, or they'll run on a campaign of how the other side, like what Hayward is doing, or Stokes or whatever, Woody, whatever. They'll run on a whole campaign of how these people are the boogeyman, and then how we need to vote for them to replace them. But yet when you go to them and tell them about the stuff they're doing, they just throw their hands up and act like they can't do. I'm tired of seeing these fake ass politicians tell us what they can't do for us. And this situation right here is a prime example, and it's framed on them basically just saying what we can't do. You guys are doing more work on the ground in the trenches while you're facing all these adversities than they're doing. And these are the people who are supposed to be the ones holding us down. You said there's a sister that helps you. What was her name again?
Her name is Leslie Sebastian. She's actually Jewish in California. Told her what was going on. I was just like, let me run this by you real quick. And when I did, she's like, I can't believe this. You know, this is unacceptable. And whatever I can do to help. She's so awesome. Because my thing is, if you real, you real. If you're willing to help, you're willing to help. I don't care what color you are. And that's just me speaking. Now, I am for my people. Don't get me wrong. But I'm for help, because as you can see, it's been my people that haven't been given the help. You know, it's been our shade that have been taking advantage of this spotlight currently, but haven't been in this race and haven't been in this fight with us at all. When I brought that situation to her, you know, she just was like, hey, let's go to work. You talking about somebody over 30 plus years in litigation who's like, look, lay all them papers out on your floor. You know, let's see what we can do. Won't you create a timeline of events of what you think has transpired? I mean, just teaching me along the way, you know, but helping me to bring exposure. We got it into the hands of a couple of attorneys. And the ones that we got, the first about 2 or 3 sets of attorneys, because we went through about 5. First 2 or 3 sets, it seemed like it was a good fit. They were big names. Mofo was one of them. I can't tell you what the MOFO. Look it up. Look it up. There was one of them. They're national. There was a big law firm that was supposed to help us with the case. I can't even think of the main attorney name from that case. Will Frenzen. And Will Frenzen, he was somebody who we just knew because we got this big name law firm. We finna get at him now. And then the questions that he started coming back with gave us the vibe that he was more on the ops side. Well, have you talked to them? Did you guys get notification of a special? And it was just like, we told you everything that was happening. You got the Dropbox that we created that got all the documents in it of what's been happening, and you turning around and questioning our integrity and what we've done, and if it was the proper steps and if it was the right thing. And you questioning if he even is the mayor. It was unfair. It didn't feel like the proper representation. And it was clear that he was going back, allegedly going back into the community and discussing with those folks, with the ops of what has transpired, and trying to get us to compromise with that. You know what I'm saying? So, enough was enough. It's time to bring these folks out. After going through them 2 or 3 attorneys, we finally got to where we are now. We have Mr. Richard Rucco, and we have Latham and Wacom as a firm as well that joined on, and probably others that'll be joining later this month. But we really went through some things, and Leslie was somebody who, even when I got to a point like, what's next? Good grief. Ooh. Like we didn't wrote letters. We didn't reached out. Mind you, Braxton went to the city attorney. He then went to the probate judge, trying to figure out why everybody moving the way they moving. And it was to no avail. And even when I get to a point where I grow weary, she's always like, well, I still got a little bit of fight in me. So who can't have no fight? You got somebody else that's sitting up here that don't have to help, that's volunteering their time. She don't get a paycheck. I don't get a paycheck. You know what I'm saying? So I had to me, and it's for mine and my people. I got to stand with you. We're going to continue to ride this out, and she's still standing. That was the only person that was willing to hear me out and to help. And I have to admit, it took for her to holler at some people to get it to this point and get it heard. God knew who he was putting in place.
That's what it is. Those are the people that you remember. The 100 people that was there when it started, and then when you leave and there's only 2 left, you ain't gonna remember the other ones, the 98 that ran. This is gonna be them last 2 that stood with you, the first ones with you, and the last to leave. Them is always the ones. I'm gonna say this now: when you putting the paperwork all on the floor, you know you putting in work. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, when you laying everything out on the ground, I've been there before, where I'm sitting there, this document, this paper, and we putting it all on the ground and working. That is when you are determined. That's when you are dedicated to the situation. So I could definitely tell the work that both of you were putting in, as well as Mr. Braxton. That just lets you know it don't stop. It don't stop no matter what. When you got that drive and you got that passion in you, it don't quit. And you always got a home right here in the New Black Media. And the truth always has a spot right here in the New Black Media, because that's what we do. We bring out everything that they want to hide, and then we put the spotlight on everything that they want to be in the dark. In terms of the case that Mr. Braxton has going, I know that he sued on the grounds of discrimination. It was civil rights. How is his case going right now? Because I think that's one of the notions that a lot of people want to understand, is that it's been in litigation for a while, and this is why he can't necessarily speak on it. So salute to you for really actually speaking the truth, because we know that he can't really speak on it because of ongoing case. How is that case moving along? It's been in litigation for quite some time. How is that really working right now?
Well, it was filed earlier this year. So it was filed about January, whatnot. There has been a schedule set out for it, but the schedule go on to like the end of 2024. So, that could be a process. It could be drawn out. It's progressing well. And right now, because it has been filed and people are able to see the litigation, everything that's happening in the case, is getting a lot of attention.
Okay.
Of course, but the case is progressing. It is progressing. Of course, there are going to be some folks deposed or whatnot. There will be some steps to be taken, but the case is progressing at a good rate, at a good pace, and in a good way. Awareness is being brought, and some folks have to answer to a few things. That's what I like. That's like, so if you ask me what's the win in this case, is that not just that, he has the opportunity to serve. That's always going to be the win, because that's the whole point. That's the point of it all. He went for something. He was duly elected. He deserves the opportunity to show what God told him to do. He deserves the opportunity to do that. So that's definitely a win. But to me, also that some of these folks that mishandled him, some of these, that's on that lawsuit, that their issue, that justice is brought in that. Like, if you broke the law, because everybody else that break the law, we get in trouble.
No,
Big
ain't
time.
that right?
We get in trouble big time. So they broke the law. They need to get in trouble for it. Some light needs to be shined upon that. And it don't need to get swept under the rug. If the League of Municipalities broke the law and guiding him in a way that they did, awareness needs to be brought to that. You know, they shouldn't be able to serve anymore. You know, if the city attorney broke the law, let's say he broke the law. Let's do this. This is, to me, this is justice, you know. So we have to, I want to continue to fight for that. There may even need to be some laws probably in place, you know. We also need to bring voter education and voter registration to these communities that are lacking, because if this is happening in Newbern, where else? How many other small towns is this is happening in?
Right, right. You know, it's funny.
So,
I heard about some of these stories of going on up in the East Coast, New Jersey, and it's very similar situations, very, very similar, where the old people who've been in power for all this time, they just say they're not going to do it. They just say no. You know, and when you have a system where somebody can just genuinely say, I'm not going to hand it over, then you don't have a system. You have a good old boy network, but it ain't the real one that's really to serve the people. And I like how you just phrase that, sister, because if this can happen one time and it can happen in Newbern, then the same situation can go on everywhere, especially when you start speaking on local politics. It's one thing about national politics, but when you start speaking on local politics, things that genuinely affect us on an immediate level, these are things where you have an 85% town. I know out in Savannah, Georgia, it's 80%. And 80% of those black folks are living below the poverty line themselves because of the good old boy system that does not want to hand things out. So what good are these laws if they're not serving us, and what good are the laws if they're not enforced? And the best way to get a law is to have it, you know, serve the people, but the people have to enforce it. And that's what I like about what you guys are doing, where you're really pushing the line and you making sure that, yeah, you're gonna write this law, or y'all gonna come up with a new one, but it's gonna be enforced, and it's gonna
be enforced.
That's what I like. I like
that.
And
we ain't taking no for an answer. We ain't taking no for an answer. And the thing is, this is why, and I'm not just about being messy, but this is why I name drop. You know what I'm saying? Because these folks too have to be held accountable for their actions. They have to be held, you know, you're getting fundraising, you know, you're fundraising, you're gaining profit, you know, behind some of these issues and things that's happening. You want your name out there about some of these issues and things happening. You know, you want recognition, all this, but you represent those that are supposed to help in these situations. So live up to that or fall back all the way.
We say ain't no half stepping.
Don't have, you can't straddle the fence. This is not one of them times where it's okay to straddle the fence. Pick a side and stay there. And I noticed that a lot of people say, you know, this is just black and white. But if you think about it, Newbern is a town, excuse me, Newbern is a town where its leadership structure has been about power. It was started off of slavery, built on slavery. You know, they were educated about slavery, how to cultivate, you know, their plantation and things like that. So more than just a black and white thing, this is about power. Break down this corrupt power structure is the key. This is power. So he came in, and by him just running, he threw a monkey wrench in the plan. You know, he threw a whole monkey wrench in the plan of their desire to maintain their power structure. Why else would you try to keep somebody else? Power and money. Why would you try to keep somebody else out? Power and money. Why would you change the EIN number to a town? What are you hiding? What are you hiding? You know,
it's funny. All the names that are getting dropped today are the same names that they want to hide. They want to make them backdoor dealings when them doors is closed, when ain't nobody around, but they can't handle the heat when their names is actually being called out on it. You got to call people out on it, because if you don't, then nothing's going to ever change.
Nothing changes. They get the credit, but I'm telling you right now, not one of them sat on the floor with me when I was sitting up there. I got kids. Did nobody sit on the floor with me and sort through documents and papers and say, hey, let's try to get this? Nobody but Leslie Sebastian in California. She got me sorting through documents. I'm trying to upload it, create drives, labeling exhibits and everything else, you know. So none of them was on the floor with me. So as they take their platforms now and say how much change that they want to bring, yeah, I want it to be known Bobby Singleton, Vicky Moore, because these people have been personally reached out to. Ben Jollis, you know, these people have Robert Turner. Shame. You were supposed to represent this man as an attorney. You did nothing of the such. Then you had the audacity to turn around and tell him he needs to get with the program. Because they did what they needed to do to maintain their positions of power. You wasn't willing to do what you were supposed to do and needed to do to make sure that this man was properly served.
That sounds like yes sir, no sir. There was folks back in slavery saying y'all need to get with the program too, and we know what they call. Let's just say they lived in the house. That's all. I ain't gonna add the last part. Let's just say they was in the house and they was getting pats on the head.
Getting a better treatment, you know, than everybody else who out there suffering in the fields. Let's be real.
Let's talk on it.
Let's talk about it. And, you know, it's just a few of them that are there. But you're going to take these platforms. You're going to get these titles. You're going to be state senate. You're going to be the civil rights attorney. You're going on all these shows and you're talking about everything that you're doing. I'm going to tell you what you're not doing because you didn't help. And now that it's a hot topic, how dare you go and set up a rally? Set up a rally in a community as if you've been doing this whole time. Never once reaching out to either one of us to say, how can we be of service? So I know a lot of time the question is, did you guys reach out for help? Who did you ask? Just know doors have been knocked on to no avail.
Sound like doors been knocked on and then doors been closed right in front of y'all just for knocking. That's what it sounds like. Even opportunities. What about other people? Because I know that he picked some people for his council. How are their lives? How are things going for them? Because I know a lot of the W said that they didn't want to serve, but the brothers and sisters who said, okay, yeah, I'll help work on this council. What's their state of mind? What's their spirits like?
I want to say broken, slightly broken. Slightly broken. You decided that you wanted to be the change in your community. You wanted to help be a part of that change. You wanted to help implement services and programs that the community need. And you've had zero opportunity to serve. Zero. And a lot of them do. They come from my grandmother's time, my mother's time, where the suppression, oppression is real. And that was a big opportunity for them. That was a big opportunity, and the door was closed in your face.
Damn.
So I mean, how can you feel? What other way can you feel but broken and hurt? And some of them are speaking up to say, "Hey, this is pure racism."
Right.
You know, they're stating it, and I don't blame them. But I do see the hurt, and I do hear the hurt. But I'm proud of them because they're not taking that L.
There you go. That's
what
I like.
Taking that L, and they talking about it. They talking about it. Anytime they get opportunity to speak, they do speak on it. They're not running from that. You know, it's a lot of us too that are afraid to speak. I want to tell my people today, have no fear. Have no fear. All you got to do is stand. Have no fear. You don't have to fear. We got brothers and sisters in your corner that's speaking. Just stand. Just stand. Have no fear. I'm not saying no violence. All that is unnecessary at this point, you know, but you don't have to be fearful. So I'm proud of the council members because they are voicing their opinions on it, and they're not operating in fear, but there is some hurt there.
Much respect, and I send a salute to them as well. You know, one of the things I'm always pressing is I tell people, you ain't got to be careless, but you can be fearless. You know, and being fearless will take you a very, very, very long way. And it's also about disrupting. Somebody told me before, not that long ago, a famous doctor in the community. He told me if you can disrupt them, you got their attention. And I like that. You got to disrupt the system. If the system is not being disrupted, then the system's going to go right over you. Like you said, you can do that in a just political fashion. You can do it by taking all the proper channels. It don't have to be wild and crazy, but it could be focused, and you can have that determination. And that's what I like right now. You guys out there, you know, determined, but at the same time, you're disrupting the system. And it starts right here. We had this conversation before how it's different nowadays. We can reach out to each other. You know, my brothers and sisters in Newbern can know what's going on. My brothers and sisters in Savannah. My brothers and sisters in Savannah know what's going on. My brothers and sisters in, you know, Birmingham, Alabama, North Carolina, South Carolina, Columbia, all across the board, we can all reach out to each other, and we have to take advantage of that. So though you may be in the space right there, nobody is alone, because there are millions of foundational Black Americans who really, really got each other's back. And through these, you know, new waves of technology and just being able to reach out and touch each other, we could always serve each other and help each other out. So I want everybody in Newbern to know that our brothers and sisters are right there with you, just like we with our brothers and sisters in Montgomery, right there on that dock. We was with them there, you know what I'm saying? And our brothers and sisters are with each other everywhere. I wanted to ask you this as well before we wrap up. You're from Newbern, your roots are from there. How many generations do you guys go back? It sounds like you go back. Normally when you're from Bama, them roots go way back. That root work is serious. That's
that root work is serious. Yes, my entire family is from Harold County on my mother's side and my dad's side. And probably I haven't even had the opportunity to dig as deep as I can dig in this, but you talking, there's several generations back that my family go here in Newbern, you know, and I'm happy for the opportunity to move back home, to learn more about where I'm from. It's unfortunate that I stumbled across this mess, you know, but I just couldn't stand by and allow something like this to continue to happen. And I did want to know, and I noticed that you flashing that through alabamalove.org. You know, that is somewhere where people can go and be of support. We've gotten many, many letters that was sent to us there of support. Of course, there was a few others, but I don't even like to bring light and give them glory. But there were many support letters that came through there that just said, hey, you know, we see what you're doing, continue to fight. Even people that said that they wanted to come out physically and just be a part of anything that we have going on. But just know that you can use that. You can be of help there. That platform and that giving space is also a space where you can come and support the food outreach services there, and support our voter education and voter registration, you know, and awareness, as well as the emergency assistance that there's always something happening there. And there's always been, God said, the needy will always be among you. So there's always some help that's needed. You can be of support to this community and continue to help this community stand. Now, I'm not just about passing out no food. You know, I'm about educating and empowering so we can become our own food or create our own food sources. So I'm not just about giving a handout. I'm more so about a hand up. And we all know that it takes money, you know what I'm saying, to really put some of these platforms in place. I'm somebody that started serving out of my backyard and my kitchen, you know what I'm saying? And then from there, it grew, you know, and so I started to make sure everything was legal and right. It grew from there. So this is a way to where you can become a part of that. Every little bit does help. So I encourage people to give. I encourage people to come out, send that letter, send that email through alabama.love, you know, alabamalove.org, and let us know where you stand and in what ways that you can be of support as well. Also, if you want to look it up, sometimes that giving platform is difficult to use, or everybody don't do PayPal. If you just go on GoFundMe and search First Black Mayor of Newbern on GoFundMe, you'll be able to see a giving platform there as well, where you can be able to support to Mayor Braxton and to the organization and what we're doing here. Change is inevitable. You know, and it happens, and it starts right here with these conversations. So, bro, I appreciate you for real.
Always much respect. I want all my brothers and sisters out there to know that we stand by them. I'm talking about, and I speak on behalf of all the certified Black society, Black Alpha Network, foundational Black Americans. I don't care if you're on the East Coast, the West Coast, Midwest, the South. We got each other's back. You know, like we say, we all we got. You know what I'm saying? Brothers and sisters, kings and queens, goddess and gods. So we'll definitely be reaching out. I want you to come back anytime you want to. We'll definitely stay in contact so we can put the light on it. We can drop some names. Any names that need to be dropped, gonna be dropped. And we're gonna continue to do that. We got something out here towards Savannah and Jacksonville area where we do some outreach programs with, you know, feeding people. So we'll definitely hook up on that, and, you know, we'll put it together, and just, you know, we're always strong. We're strong by ourselves, but foundational Black Americans, we stronger together. So I want to send you a salute, my sister, and I appreciate you coming on. And remember, you always have a space right here in the New Black Media, and we'll definitely continue to, you know, bring the light. We'll definitely continue to bring the receipts, and we'll always keep it one big family tree. So I salute to you 100%, my sister. You stay good and you stay safe too.
Absolutely. Thank you again.
Always, man. Everybody out there, I want y'all to understand. I want y'all to support the family, no matter where the family is. I want you to know that nobody's going to get nothing off on us, not in this era, not in this time. It's a new day and it's a new light. And everything that we do, we're going to do it collectively. And we're going to bring out all that old energy. We're going to bring in some new energy. But this new energy cannot be messed with. This new energy is untouchable because we are together, untouchable, unbreakable, unmatched, and stronger than ever. So with that said, I salute to you one more time, sister. Salute to the whole family. Everybody stay good, stay safe, stay vigilant. And most of all, remember, black is beautiful and beautiful is always black. One love.